Okay, hello. At the time of recording, we should be within the 2024. Well, I say should be. We are within the 2024 LCT Summer School program. This is not part of anything we're going to be doing in class. This is not part of any summer school booklets. This is still with the LCT Normal English Workbook. My glasses aren't sitting comfortably. Excuse me. But this is, we're going to continue with me looking through some comprehensions, just to keep training, keep honing our talents, building some comprehension acumen, some skills, some capabilities, in the hopes that you can apply this in the summer school as well. Take this as extra help if you are going between summer school videos, summer school booklets, and this. Take this as a bit of bonus revision for you. What is there to say before we look at Comprehension 24? This is towards the back end of the selection of comprehensions we have in this workbook. And you've got some slightly longer ones with some more ambitious or varied structuring. I'm focusing on these because we've done the shorter ones that have more obvious questions. We've looked at those kinds of comprehensions, extensively, I would say. We haven't done longer ones that aren't as straightforward, perhaps. You may notice that this one is one structured with subheadings. It's paragraphs of subheadings. Now, what this does, the benefit of that, is it really helps us with something I've spoken about before. I will keep saying it until I am blue in the face. And that is comprehension geography. That is being able to navigate a comprehension after one read through, and it's entirely dependent on the amount of attention you give to it. It will save you flicking back and forth. You'll be able to remember what goes there, what goes there. When you get questions referring to sections, when you get the subheadings, it's much easier to recall exactly where we're looking, what each paragraph is talking about. Yeah. So bearing that in mind, let's have a read through of this. Have a look at some questions again. I've highlighted some words I think we need to define. We'll go through them as we get to them. So, monarchs of the Indian wilderness, lions in India. A monarch, you may have heard this in reference to the royal family. This is in reference to a male leading figure, a monarch, often in a regal sense as well. A monarch is male because of the mon at the start. You get the mon, which is male, so you get your mon. Why is that so small? There we go. mon as referential to a man. If you're looking for a female leader like Queen Elizabeth II, we would refer to her as a matriarch in a sense. Matri referring to something female. There we go. Doesn't like that because it's not necessarily an English word, but that's fine. So, monarchs, because lions are men. They're boys. Lionesses are the female equivalent. Who's in awe of the kings of the Indian jungle? Lion. The very name evokes. To evoke something is to produce a feeling. It makes you feel a certain way. The very name evokes images of regal. This is often royal, yeah? Regal or royal, quite often interchangeable. The very name evokes images of regal power and majesty. Lions are iconic and awe-inspiring, rolling over the Indian wilderness. In tales from folklore, lions are the symbols of strength and courage. They are revered. To be revered is to be deeply respected or admired. To be revered. They are revered in Indian mythology and often associated with gods and goddesses. Some believe that lions are divine protectors guarding sacred places. Lions and tigers. While tigers often steal the limelight, to say steal the limelight refers to, it's a bit idiomatic. When we say idiomatic, it's talking about common phrases that we have in our respective language, which of course here is English. Things like, there are so many, I don't know why I'm struggling to think of them now. So idioms are things like, tell you what, let me find. Google's always good for things like this. Never be shy of using it. Yeah, so break a leg, for instance, when you talk to an actor. So break a leg, you don't literally mean it, it's an idiom, it's just a phrase we use. Limelight quite often has that sort of use, steal the limelight in particular, as a phrase. It's talking about fame or popularity, limelight. So to steal the limelight is to steal the fame. While tigers often steal the fame when it comes to big cats in India, lions have a remarkable presence of their own. In biological terms, lions are close relatives of tigers, both belonging to the Panthera genus. However, they have different, unique, highly recognisable as well as belonging to one person, one species, distinct, one thing. Uniqueness that is noticeable. Distinct differences that make them unique. There you go. Lions are known for their social behaviour, often forming feelings of pride with multiple females, while tigers are solitary, alone, isolated creatures. History and range. Lions in India are primarily found in the Gir forest of Gujarat, which is their last stronghold. A stronghold is something that is, fortified. It's an upheld location in Asia. Historically, lions roamed across different parts of India, and their presence was even mentioned in ancient texts and art. However, due to habitat loss and hunting, their range has significantly shrunk over the centuries. Characteristics. Indian lions, also known as Asiatic lions, are slightly smaller than their African counterparts. A counterpart is like it's a colleague or an equal or a friend, but opposing, not necessarily an enemy, but an opposite, in a related manner. But no less magnificent. They have a distinctive coat with a shaggy mane, which is often less lush than that of African lions. These apex predators are known for their strength and agility, making them formidable hunters in the wild. They're impressively powerful. To be formidable is to be impressively powerful or capable, and it often inspires fear or respect. Right? If you're formidable, you've earned respect due to being strong, powerful, capable. Conservation efforts. Conservation is about preservation. It's about you're conserving. It's about stopping animals from going extinct in this context. The plight is a problem. It's a difficult situation. It's an unfortunate situation. The plight of the Indian lion has been a cause for concern, and extensive conservation efforts have been put in place to ensure its survival. The Gir Forest National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary have been instrumental in safeguarding. Now, we know about compound words, don't we? It's when you get two words and you put them together to make a new one. It does what it says on the tin. Safeguard. Safeguard. We are protecting lions from extinction, Successful conservation programs and dedicated conservationists have helped increase their population, although in a confined, restricted, barricaded, it's got a limit to it, it's got a perimeter, it's got parameters, area. Challenges and future. While there is hope for the Indian lion's survival, challenges remain. The limited range of the Gir forest makes the population vulnerable to disease outbreaks and other threats. There have been discussions and potential reintroductions to expand their habitat, but these ideas come with their own set of challenges. The pride. The pride of lions is not just a group of individuals, it is a complex social structure with a that's like ordered and ranked. Right, you often hear about hierarchy in workplaces. You get managers and employees, or in society you get classes. Often quite contentious, quite problematic conversation classes. But you often hear the word hierarchical used in that context. The pride is often led by a dominant male, along with several lionesses and their cubs. The cooperative society ensures the survival and well-being of the group. Watching a lion pride in the Indian wilderness is a sight to behold, and a reminder of the majesty of nature. A call for coexistence. In modern times, the attitude towards lions in India is evolving. Conservationists and wildlife enthusiasts advocate, support, for peaceful coexistence between humans and these magnificent creatures. Conservation education and responsible tourism have helped raise awareness about the importance of preserving these apex predators and their habitats. The return of the king? Lions once roamed freely across the vast landscapes of India, from the forest of Bengal to the Deccan Plateau. Today, their presence is limited to a small sanctuary in Gujarat. Some conservationists and nature lovers dream of restoring the Indian lion to its former glory and reintroducing it to suitable habitats across the country. While this idea is met with challenges and debates, it symbolises the enduring fascination and love for these incredible animals. Right, thank you. Oh, there's another paragraph. Excuse me. In conclusion, the lions of India, though confined to a small territory, continue to capture our imaginations and hearts. They represent the wild, untamed spirit of the Indian wilderness and serve as a reminder of the importance of conservation and coexistence in our ever-changing world. The roar of the Indian lion may be faint, but its legacy remains strong, echoing through the pages of history and the depths of our collective consciousness. Right, now we're done. Done for real this time. Let's look at our questions, okay? So, how are lions portrayed in the first paragraph? It's okay to have a scroll up. If you had good comprehension geography, you might be able to remember, but for the sake of argument, let's have a look. So, first paragraph is here. Regal power, majesty, iconic, ruling over the Indian wilderness. You get the tales of folklore, Indian mythology. They're strong, they're courageous, they're associated with something divine. Take all of that. The solitary and elusive, no. They're symbols of strength and courage. None of the other options work. It has to be B. It has to be B there. That should be an obvious one. Question 2. How does the size of Indian lions compare to African lions? Well, because I have good geography, I know exactly where to go. It is going to be around here, the characteristics. So, Indian lions, Asiatic lions, slightly smaller than the African counterparts. So the lions are smaller than the Indian ones are smaller, I believe is what it said. Bad to already forget. Yeah, the Indian ones are smaller than the African ones. So we go to question 2. Indian lions are smaller. Has to be B once more. Question 3. In what way do lions differ from tigers in terms of behaviour? Well, let's have a look. So, characteristics. So, this is all about the way they look. Oh, here we go. So, lions are known for their social behaviour. Tigers are solitary. Is that anywhere? Let's have a look. Tigers are solitary. Lions are social. Well, that sounds right to me. Right off the bat, has to be A. Has to be A. Herbivores, carnivores not mentioned. Aggression not mentioned. Swimming not mentioned. Nocturnal, diurnal not mentioned. So, which region of India would most Indian lions be found today? Well, let's have a look. Remember, it spoke about a restricted area where they were being kept for conservation efforts. So, where does it say that? Lions in India are primarily found in the Gir forest of Gujarat, their last stronghold in Asia. Gujarat, is that an option? C. There you go. 4 has to be C. So 5. What role does the Gir Forest National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary play? Well, I remember exactly where it was. It was here. The Gir Forest National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary have been instrumental in safeguarding the species from extinction. They're leading a conservation program, yes? So let's have a look. Popular tourist destination, no. Only place where Indian lions are found. Possibly, but let's have a look elsewhere. Focuses on the conservation of tigers. Conservation, don't get tricked out here. Conservation of lions. We're not talking about tigers, we're talking about lions. It's a bird watching sanctuary. Nope. Houses only elephants. No, we're talking about lions. Only lions, not tigers, only lions. B's the only option that works. Do you see how he process of elimination that? Has to be B once more. How do lions in India differ from their African counterparts in terms of mane lushness? Once again, I have good geography. I don't need to think about it. I know exactly where to look. Here we go. So, the Asiatic Indian lions have a shaggy mane, less lush than that of African lions. Less lush. Indian lions have, there you go, less lush manes. Has to be B. Once again, has to be B. Question 7. What is the main concern regarding the limited range of Indian lions? Well, where do we talk about a limited range? Let's have a look. Here we go. The limited range, you see that there? The limited range of the Gir forest makes the population vulnerable to disease. Vulnerable to disease outbreaks and other threats. Vulnerable to disease. Is that an option down here? Disease outbreaks. B. Once more has to be B. If we are going through the questions and you're wondering, but he keeps saying geography, comprehension geography, but you know, he's a teacher. He can just scroll up and he knows exactly where to look. He doesn't really have to think about it. I promise you, I've looked at this comprehension as much as you have. It's just that when we were reading it, I was paying attention. I took note of where things were. I was an active reader. I wasn't just letting it swim over me, go straight over my head, in one ear, out the other. I was paying attention. I was making a map. I was learning when things were. I was taking key bits of information in. You have to comprehend the comprehension. You have to understand it. You can't just read it. It's not a reading task. It's more complex than just a reading task. Question 8. Based on the way lines are portrayed in the text, well, this is a summary of the whole thing, so let's have a look at these options. The writer considers lines to be dangerous. No, never mentioned them being dangerous. It encouraged us to have a different opinion. Remember, humans and lines can live together. Encouraged us to think like that. The writer believes that lines are not significant. Absolutely not. This piece of writing wouldn't have been written if lines were not that significant. C. The writer sees lines as divine protectors in Indian mythology. Well, that was mentioned, so let's leave that as a possibly. D. The writer views lions as common animals. No. We spent so long talking about how unique they were, describing all those characteristics. It can't be D. E. The writer regards lions as iconic and awe-inspiring creatures. So we've got E or C. The writer sees lions as divine protectors in Indian mythology, or the writer regards lions as iconic. Which one sounds more accurate? I know which one sounds more accurate to me. E. I think we can safely say that the answer for 8 is E. Based on the whole text, another summary here. What is the writer's opinion on lines returning to their natural habitat? Well, there you go. It's misleading. It's not a whole summarising question. It's asking you specifically about the natural habitat. Don't ever get misled by the wording of a question. Getting distracted like that will cost you. Based on the whole text, you think, I don't need to flick back. It's just general. It's not. We're talking about returning to the natural habitat. So where do we talk about that? Return of the king. So, their presence is limited to a small sanctuary. Some conservationists and nature lovers dream of restoring the Indian lion to its former glory. It's met with challenges and debates, symbolises the enduring fascination and love for these incredible animals. So take that information, come back down to number 9. Strongly opposes the idea, absolutely not. Believes that returning lions to their natural habitats would come with challenges. Yes, they would. But would it be essential for their conservation? Possibly. C. The writer thinks it's unnecessary to consider. No. They talk about how amazing it would be. Can't be C. D. The writer has no opinion on the matter. Definitely doesn't have no opinion. They indicate an opinion. E. The writer suggests that lions should be relocated. No, there's no mention of other countries or relocation. The best fit here has to be C. Has to be B. Has to be B. We see that? Other things are implied. Necessarily, you won't always find things given to you in the text. You'll have to do some deduction, some logic. Yeah. Understand the tone, the narrative voice, the way it's being written, what the opinion means. It won't always go, I think this. Understand it from the words that are used. Do they sound angry? Do they sound positive, optimistic? What do they sound like? 10. What is the ultimate goal for some conservationists and nature lovers? Well, we've only just spoken about it. It has to be D. To reintroduce lions to their historic habitats. We've only just spoken about it. We've only just read it. 11. What does the text emphasise as the enduring legacy of Indian lions? So let's scroll up here. This is question 11. Yeah. So their enduring legacy. So, continue to capture our imaginations and hearts. They represent the wild, untamed spirit of the Indian wilderness. The wild, untamed spirit of the Indian wilderness. There's always a fascination. Something about India. Naturally, where do we think that comes from? The Indian mythology. They're revered in Indian mythology. Come back down. Have a look at that. Have a look at the options. Their ability to adapt. They don't adapt. They've been restricted to one environment. They don't adapt. Their status as apex predators. I don't think that's the enduring thing. I think that's just part of them. They are apex predators, but that's not the most important here. That's not the tone of the piece. Their popularity amongst tourists not mentioned. Their loud and constant roars. Loud roaring is not mentioned. The answer that fits the most has to be C here. 11 must be C. I'm hoping these answers are making sense. Please don't just guess them. Don't just wait for me to tell you what it is. Think about it before we get to the answer for each one. In the lions and tigers paragraph, here we go, some questions about words. What does the phrase limelight signify in the context of the text? We did speak about this. We defined it together. So, we talk about limelight, we talk about fame. We're talking about importance, attention. A large focus on tigers compared to other large cats. Remember how tigers steal the limelight from lions. They steal the limelight. Has to be C for 12. In the characteristics paragraph, what is the meaning of the term apex predators? Well, if you go to a mountain, okay, and you go to the apex, the mountain's apex, you go to the top of the mountain. So we're talking about the top predators at the top, at the peak, at the apex of the food chain pyramid. 13 has to be A. 14, penultimate question, second to last. In the text, what is the grammatical classification of the word majesty? You have majesty. You have it. You don't say someone was doing something with majesty. You do necessarily. For instance, I didn't run majesty. I ran majesty. You see that? You see how if I try to use it like an adjective, it doesn't make sense. The word majesty, don't try and change the ending of it. Majestically is a different word. I ran majesty, doesn't make sense. I ran with majesty as an additional item. It's a thing. It has to be a noun. 15. In the text, what is the grammatical classification of the word primarily? So think about it. Let's make a sentence. When I wake up in the morning, or let me change this. When I have breakfast, I primarily have shredded wheat. When I go to the gym, I primarily work my biceps. You see how we're doing activities, we're eating breakfast, we're working out at the gym, but we're doing them in a way. When we talk about the way we do a verb, that's an adverb. We do a verb primarily. We don't primarily do it, we do it primarily. And that is all for this comprehension. If you're watching this still during the summer school, please keep enjoying it. I'll see you soon.